Good morning and welcome to the Humanity course for environmental educators on AI. My name is Lee Mallon. I'll be your guide, your tour through this course and module. And today we are looking at images and how we can use artificial intelligence to create and generate images. First up, I want to talk about how we're moving to, I think, a world where a lot of imagery will not be real. All these images you can see on the background here were generated with artificial intelligence. And this opens up a massive concern around deepfakes. That's what a lot of the mainstream media has focused on recently. But it also opens up a lot of possibility for people who are not massively artistic to start to generate amazing, beautiful, engaging visuals like they've never been able to do before. And again, in this case of environmental education, we get to generate these most beautiful imagery to either inspire people or to some degree to invoke a fear or an emotional state for them to make more immediate action potentially. And how this works is by providing prompts. So there's a multitude of different things where you can give an image and it will take the image traits and then come up with another image. But on the whole, you're able to use a textual input to generate an image that looks very much like this one here by just saying something like create an image of a city of the future embracing renewable clean energy. Now, the images aren't perfect. There's different services that do different things, but it gets quite compelling depending on how and what platform you use. So for example, I showed you in the very introductory of this video, the City 2047 example that we created as a video. And this is some of the image stills. This is where describing cities around the world in their prosperous, clean, renewable energy future, and also a future around decay and is something that you would need a whole art team to create before, or you potentially wouldn't even be able to if you're someone just trying to advocate for change. But like anything, the best thing to do here is to show you how this works. I'm going to throw a few tools. Most of them are free or quite cost effective to utilize. Let's get into the demo. Okay, so here we are back in, we'll do ChatGPT first. And with ChatGPT 4, we have access to their platform called DALL-E. DALL-E is their image generation tool. And from that, we can create all sorts of images. So for example, I can say, give me an image of a city, actually, let's pick a city of London, picking on London, where grass has taken over because it is 30 years in the future. And then what's going to happen now is going to go off and it's going to generate the image. Now, compared to the text generation we saw with ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4, image generation does run a lot slower. And therefore, you do get a lot less kind of back and forth because of the speed for generation. Now, we see some other tools that execute it a little bit differently, which kind of, well, we'll save that for a second. So here we can see, the iconic London, the Big Ben, the Wheel, House of Parliament, and as you can see, it's been overrun by greenery. Now, I can take that image and I can say, can you create this in landscape ratio? And we can invoke a style and make the style more comic book. Now, again, this kind of also relates to if you're going to be creating imagery, you can be creating artwork to promote your cause, focus on the audience. If your audience is people who are really interested in comic books, then this gives you the ability to appeal to their familiar environment. Okay, so now you get the same thing, but in a more cartoonistic style. Now, the one great thing actually about DALL-E is I can jump between text and imagery quite well. So previously we did a script for a video. So here I can say, give me a script for a video showing how London could evolve to a green, actually let's not do that because we've already done that, to be underwater in 50 years. So now it's going to generate me my script off the back of it. Okay, so I'm just going to stop it there. So our opening shot is this. So now I'm going to say, cool. So for the opening shot, can you give me the image prompt to create this? Now, the reason I ask for that is because it understands what an image prompt is, and it's going to go quite verbose in its detailing. Sometimes it will then create the image. Okay, so now we're getting the prompt. And what's great about this is I can take that prompt and maybe I don't want the London Eye Big Ben in the shot. Maybe I just want Big Ben, and I can adapt that prompt accordingly. So now I can say, create an image from that prompt, but remove Big Ben. Now, similar to the text generation, image generation is the same. If you ask it for a futuristic view of London, and then you ask it again, them two images could be completely different from the first time. The more specific you can get with the prompt, the more consistency you can kind of get in the long term. This is a great image. It's kind of done what we wanted to, but as you can see, and this is where we get into this hallucination conversation again, where it says without Big Ben, but as we can blatantly see, Big Ben is right here. But, you know, we can either iterate on the prompt, we can try and get it to cut out, or we could just go manual and just cut the image right there accordingly. Now, this could also come down to training material. This is what it knows of London, it knows of Big Ben, etc. Now, there's other tools out there that generate images as well. One particular tool is a tool called Midjourney. Now, Midjourney is, there we go. So Midjourney is all it does is image generation, does no text generation, but it has, in my opinion, and many's, a more interesting set of training data, quite futuristic, quite kind of techno, but it means you can create some interesting things. Now, Midjourney prior used to have to use this other tool called Discord to be able to generate images. They're slowly moving it into their own website. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's probably worth just waiting if it's not for you. I personally have an alpha version just because I've generated so many pictures, but I think they're going to slowly roll this out over the next few months. Now, I can again take the same thing, so I could go back into ChatGPT and grab that prompt out, and in here I can just drop that prompt. I then also have some settings. So I can say if I want it landscape, square, if I want to use different versions of the model, how stylized I want it to be, how weird, what variety, and how quick should it run. And then we're just going to press go. And then that's going to create. Now, the one great thing about Midjourney is it will create 4 different images of the same prompt with slightly different variations. And as you can see now, unlike DALL-E, which basically ran to the very end at 35%, we start to see a progressive loading of each image to start getting an idea, okay, I kind of like that, I kind of like that, or I don't like any of them. I'm going to start thinking about re-engineering my prompt to be more suited to what I'm after. I'm going to keep this running in real time and just sitting in awkward silence because I think it's important to understand the duration it takes for this image generation. Okay, so there we go. As you can see, that's a bit slow. Now, this also could be because America's woken up, which does seem to make it a bit slower. So here's my image for the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And as you can see, some of them have basically followed through and not obviously shown Big Ben, which is great. Now within these, we can do the same again. We can iterate, we can change, we can go, but we can also vary them. So we can zoom out, we can vary them subtly or strongly. We can upscale them, so we can make them bigger resolution if we decide that's what we want to go for. We can change we can use this as a base image. So for example, I can use this as a base image and say, do the same for New York. And it will therefore take the styling and the aesthetics to match to something in New York. The image generation thing is very much a play. You get to experiment. You get to really start to imagine things as you create them. Ability to turn your words, your language into something visual. I find even as a brainstorming activity, I find that it's quite eye-opening what it generates sometimes, and just makes me rethink what I was trying to articulate sometimes. Okay, so there we go. Now we've got our New York and our variants of that in the same style, which is very cool. The one great thing about Midjourneys, it is a community, it is a collaborative tool. So if I go into Explore, I can see all different images other people have made, and most importantly, I can see the prompts that they've used to generate them. So this can basically be a great source of inspiration to start figuring out how you can hone in your language for prompting, and also what people have done to really get that nice nuance. So like, for example, on some of these, let's find. So here you've got things like this, ultra realistic. You've got these little parameters that really kind of hone in on the style, the parameter of it, of what it is. Like, this is commercial photography, this is 4K, this is raw, it's got lighting. So that was generating images. The next module is all around sound and speech. Thank you. Have a nice day.